I'm Heather Sampson with Beach Beads and Glass Studio and Illuminations in Surfside Beach, South Carolina, right near Myrtle Beach. Today I'm going to teach you how to make the beach cluster earrings. They're made out of aluminum with charms, and those kits are going to be available right here on my website for $16.99 under the weekly kits. So let's get started. Okay, so the tools that we're going to need to make the earrings today is we're going to need a round nose tool. We're going to need good nippers. I use 2 bent nose tools to open up my jump rings. I'm going to show you how to do that and how it's so easy to get a good close on that if you have 2 bent nose tools. Or you can use a needle nose or a flat nose, whatever works best for you. But I'm going to show you today how you can really get a good close on the jump rings if you have 2 bent nose. And then it's always good to have nylon coated pliers when you're working with aluminum. You'll need your hammer, your bench block, and then I always keep a spool like of wire around. This is what we're going to use to make the loop in the aluminum large enough for something to hang in the middle. So a spool or your wire is perfect for that. So the supplies we're going to need is you're going to need 8.5 inches of 12 gauge wire. You're going to need 4 20 gauge head pins. I use a little charm in the center, and then I use a turquoise bead in a shell. Then you're going to need jump rings. I have 4 6mm jump rings and 2 8. It's just going to depend on the way your ear wires are going to hang, whether you're going to need that extra 6mm jump ring to make it hang correctly. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is make sure our ends are nice and flush cut. So we're going to take the back of the tool. That's how you get a flush cut, and you're going to bring it there in the tip and just clean up your ends. You want to make sure that all your ends are nice and clean, which those are both cut. Okay, then what we're going to do is we are going to slightly bend by taking both ends kind of off kilter, where one is longer than the other. And the way that you match that is you just line it up and bring the other one down just like it. And then what we're going to do is take our round nose, and we're going to actually work in the very tip of our round nose to get that small loop. Now with practice, you will get it to where you don't grab too hard, but for some reason everybody wants to grab really hard. You do not have to grab really hard. You'll leave a big dent in the aluminum. You just want to round it up enough to where you can get it, roll it up with your hand. Of course, one swirl is going to be larger than the other. That is the way the design is. And you just want to roll that up until you can get it with your hands. Just like that. Roll that one up a little bit more. Okay, as you see, we need this to be wider so the cluster can hang. So this is when I use my spool, and I'm just going to take the wire around there, and I'm not going to touch it, but I'm just going to bring it around that round. And then all you do is bring those together. You see how that made it wider, so now that the beads can hang in there. Once you get your shape the way you want it, you're going to take your bench block and you're going to take your chasing hammer, and you want to keep your fingers out of the way. You just want to take the round edge off. You don't want to pancake the wire. Just take the round edge off. Then what we're going to do is choke up on our hammer with the ball peen, and we're just going to put the little dents in. You don't have to do this part. This is just added bling. You can just keep them flat if you like that look. And we're just going to slightly tap here. Okay, so then we have our base made. Now what we're going to do is we are going to wrap our little turquoise beads, and you can go ahead and wrap everything and then just add it onto the ring. The way that I wrap is I grab close. I'm at 12 noon. I come totally horizontal, switch hands. Your instinct is to grab in here, but you actually want to grab from the back and pull. And then make sure your loop is straight where you want it. You always want to turn your bead upside down when you're clipping it, because you get a nice close cut. And then we just take our bent nose, and we're just going to put a little bit of pressure on that tail and tuck him into the wrap. Now the trick to wrap a shell, because it's top drilled, is you go in from the front and you get that head pin tight in that hole and then hold on to that and stand it up. So you actually kind of made a little hook on it, just like that. You're gonna stand it up. You're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna grab close. I always come forward on these, and then I'm gonna switch to my dominant hand. So the trick to keep the shell from not wiggling is we are gonna wrap down a little bit over the top part of the shell. So that is going to make it sturdy, just like that. By coming down just a little bit over the tip of the shell does not wiggle anymore. So same thing, you're gonna turn upside down, get in there and clip close. And then you're gonna just tuck that little tail. So now I have my 2 beads wrapped, and then there's my charm. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my 8mm jump ring. I like to use the twisted ones. They're a little bit stronger. The only thing is they're really hard to find where they split. So typically your nail will find it for you. Let's see where that split is. I mean, they are so, and sometimes I just move it a little bit to find the split. That one is really hidden well. There it is. Okay, so my trick to getting a really good hold on the jump rings when you open them is I turn both of these backwards, and then I have total control of that. So then I'm gonna just hold that. I'm gonna load, I gotta put my little charm on a 6, and they're even harder to find with the split. Again, you have so much more control because you're in the beefy part of the tool when you open it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on and close it. If I did not put this ring on, the charm would not hang flat. So there's gonna be lots of times that you're gonna have to use jump rings to make sure that things hang correctly. So then I'm just gonna go ahead and put my shell on, and then the charm goes in the middle, and then the bead. And then I am going to go ahead and put my second O-ring on. That's gonna be what we attach to the earring. And I'm gonna go ahead and get onto the base we made. And you're gonna just close it. So the trick to getting it closed, did you hear that click? It almost clicks shut. The trick is you always go forward to backwards, and when you come back towards the center, you kind of put pressure towards the center so it rubs and closes. Okay, so now let me find the little ring here. Okay, so I'm getting ready to add to my earring. My earring is facing the wrong way, so what I do is I cheat and just turn the loop. So depending on your earrings, if you don't want to add another split ring for it to go correctly, you can just turn the earring. You can't turn it back and forth, but you can turn it one time and it won't weaken the metal. And I'm gonna, again, take both my bent nose, open that up, and put my ring on, and then I'm gonna act like that ring isn't even there, and I'm gonna close it up. And there we have our cluster earring. Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple of tips and tricks about the earrings now. When you make these earrings, you wanna make sure that you do a mirror image, meaning that I want the turquoise beads facing my cheekbones. You don't wanna make the same exact earring because then I would have a turquoise here and a turquoise on the outside. The way you wanna do the mirror image. So it doesn't matter if the shell's on the inside or the turquoise is on the inside, you just wanna make sure on each earring that whatever bead is on the inside, that it's on the inside on this side. You can also just, with these earrings, do one pretty focal bead like this, and then you could do like a pendant and matching earrings. That's a great idea for a set. The great thing about aluminum is it is super forgiving when you're working with it, so don't get frustrated. If you make a wrong bend, it's very forgiving. It's kind of like Play-Doh. You just work out the kinks and rework it, and it also will always be nice and shiny because it has no nickel in it, so it's not going to oxidize like other metals. And the best thing about aluminum is it's super lightweight, so you can wear a really big earring and not have all that weight like we used to have with the big heavy silver earrings. So definitely check out my kits on my website right here, and I hope to see you soon. Thanks.